Okay, so with the release of Wonder Woman 1984 coming up very shortly, I thought what better way than to revisit the first movie, Wonder Woman 2017. Now, it's weird saying Wonder Woman 2017 even though it was released in 2017 because the second movie is titled, Wonder Woman 1984. So it's weird saying that, but that's just what it is, honestly. But yeah, 2017, wow. It has been a long time since I went like and got myself to the theaters to watch that movie. I still remember the experience and what happened and a little bit about how I felt about the movie, but I had to rewatch it just so I got a clearer, a clearer vision, a clearer idea of what I thought. But let's just get into it. I'll tell you about what I thought about it after. By the way, I will be mild spoiling this movie, so if you haven't watched this movie, what the fuck are you doing? You have to have watched that movie just to have clicked on this video out of all the videos on YouTube. But anyway, to recap, the first Wonder Woman movie is basically an origin story starring Gal Gadot as Diana, the Princess of the Amazons, before she was officially known as the Wonder Woman. So we basically got to see Diana's upbringing, seeing her raised on this beautiful island hidden from the rest of the world, and her training in becoming a warrior. But then one day this mysterious pilot crashes down from the sky, and with that, bring a whole bunch of unwanted German soldiers. When Diana confronts this pilot, she learns that there's a great war happening on the outside. Convinced that this is the doing of the Greek god Ares, they both escape the island and fight in the war in hopes that defeating this god will cleanse the men's evil intentions and end all wars. So this movie is set within the First World War, I think in the year 1910, and it is also the prequel movie to the 2016 film Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, which got a lot of flack. A lot of people hated that. But a lot of people really enjoyed Wonder Woman, and I was one of them. However, I will say that my second time viewing this movie, I felt a little bit different than the first time viewing it, if that makes sense. It just felt different. I think, I don't know, I'm typically someone who doesn't really enjoy watching the same movie twice, even though it has been a long time since I saw the first Wonder Woman movie. It still feels like I still have the same feeling, like I've watched it, I know what to expect, and it's not as exciting. That's just me though. So I will have to say that my second time viewing, not as exciting, still pretty good though, but it felt a lot more slow paced and less action than I thought it had, like when I initially watched it. But still, I'll be talking about this movie kind of just like what I felt when I first watched the movie. So yeah. But regardless, I feel like Gal Gadot is just perfect as Wonder Woman, honestly. Her performance is just outstanding. Same with Chris Pine, but Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, she's beautiful, she's stunning. She acts just like how she would act, like when she's in this situation. She's never been outside of her home before, this island that's situated away from the rest of this world with this massive force field that kind of hides everything. And then she goes to this mysterious unknown place and she's just acting like she has no idea what's going on. And I love that. It's very realistic in the way that she performs. The action, while I felt like there was a lack of it, it took a while until we got to her unveiling as Wonder Woman, and my god, that scene was spectacular, might I say. But once it got to the action, man, it was so good. The slow-mo with the effects and the music and the score as well paired with it is just phenomenal. And it's just everything that you want in an action movie. I will say though, like the second time viewing it, I don't know if it was just the second time, but or maybe me viewing a lower quality of it on just on my phone, right? But like it felt like the CGI was very noticeable. Like it was very noticeably fake, like CGI. So I will have to point that out. I don't know if it's just me or like me being too critical, but I just found that to be a fact. But I think like the other really good thing about this movie is that it shows you the reality of war, and it's not just war, like it's not just fighting for the sake of fighting. There's real purpose behind everyone's actions, you know. And like I will take this quote from the movie, like everyone's fighting their own battles, and I really like that. Like that basically sums up the entire movie, because you got the war on one hand, and then you got Wonder Woman versus Ares and her battles, and it's just everything like kind of goes together so well. Like, and you can see that Diana really cares for these people, like the people that the Germans are killing and stuff like that, like through poison gases and whatnot, you know, through the effects of the war, obviously. And like an outsider caring that much about other people, I mean, you can see exactly what she's fighting for, which is awesome, you know. It makes the film a lot more emotionally impactful, I guess. And I will say, other than the protagonist and the main hero and all that, Jazz, the sidekicks, whatever, the villain in these superhero movies are also very important. You know, not only for the plot, but also to make you, you know, more emotionally drawn into the movie. Obviously, a bad villain, a bad villain is considered a good villain, because, you know, they set out to do what they're supposed to do, you know, be the villain that everyone hates and like hates their guts, basically. And I feel like for the most part, the villain, what I don't like about this movie is that the villain is very hidden. I mean, we see Ludendorff, and also I think his name is called Ludendorff, the villain, the German military commander, whatever, and also his sidekick, the poison bitch. I don't know her name, but those two weren't the most exciting villains, I will have to say. They were mostly in the backdrop for the majority of the movie, and it was until this kind of twist, this plot twist, where one of the guys who was with Diana and all the other her sidekicks, right, he was actually the villain. And it was until Ares popped up and that final battle where everything just like it was that much more exciting, I would say. And yeah, I mean, I just love that supernatural aspect of the movie, and I wish I got to see more of it. So overall, Wonder Woman 2017, I would say not as good as when I first watched it, on my second time watching it, for obvious reasons, which I stated before. And I will give you another example of that. Like, I thought the movie was a little bit more emotionally impactful when I first watched it, especially towards the end, the final battle, and also Steve Trevor and that scene with him and Wonder Woman. Yeah, this time watching it though, it didn't get to me as much as I did the first time, but you know, that it's whatever. That, like I said, I mean, I'm not one of those people who likes to watch a movie over and over again and have the same feeling, because I already know what's going to happen. But regardless of that, in terms of rating, I'm still going to give this movie a score I thought was worth giving when I watched this movie initially. I'm going to give Wonder Woman an A-. Now, before I wrap up this video, I'm just going to give you my very, very short thoughts on the next movie that's coming out, Wonder Woman 1984. Now, it's been a while. This movie was going to initially be released, I think, August or June or July. I think August of this year, but got pushed back because of coronavirus. Damn that. I mean, it's pushed back so many big blockbuster films, such as A Quiet Place Part 2 and Black Widow and a lot of other stuff. But this movie is the one of the delayed ones that's going to be released the soonest, the earliest, or I should say. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. And I have high hopes because I really enjoyed the first one. But I don't think it's going to be as good. That's just what I think, because it's very hard to live up to something like as good as the first Wonder Woman movie. It's going to be hard, and I will be very impressed if they do. You know, it's kind of like The Last of Us. I know that's a game and that's not a movie, but it's similar in the fact that Last of Us 1, the first game, did really well, and then The Last of Us Part 2 did really bad. Even though it won Game of the Year, I mean, it got so much flack. Like, a lot of people hated it. But, you know, I'm not going to go into that now. Like, that's just an example. But yeah, I mean, the origin story is always the one that's the most interesting. And we'll see. I mean, it's still too early to say, and I don't know too much about the second movie that, you know, I have that much to say about it. But I will say that, I mean, the main villain, everyone knows, I mean, it's in the trailer, the Cheetah. I'm not a big fan of DC. I've never heard of the Cheetah as a villain before, so it's going to be less impactful for me, at least, because I've never read any of the DC comics. I'm more of a Marvel fan, but Wonder Woman is probably one of my favorite characters of the DC universe. But what I've heard is that I was thinking, like, I got confused at the start because I thought Wonder Woman 2017 was, or I mean, I guess I should say Wonder Woman 1984, the one that's coming up, is the prequel to the first one, but it's not. It's set in a different timeline, and apparently the director or whatever doesn't want to call it a direct sequel. I read that online somewhere, but it's just a film set in like a different time frame. And that they're not going to make it like Marvel-esque and make it like a whole universe. That's what I read. I don't know though. Let me know what you think about it and if that's true or not. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. And apparently Chris Pine is back as Steve Trevor, even though he, spoiler alert, apparently died in the first movie. That's never really, I mean, you kind of get a hint that that's what happened, but that's never really been validated. Or, I mean, it's never been black and white, here's what happened. So, he's back. I don't know what that means, but I guess we'll wait and see. So, yeah, I am pretty excited, and I will be reviewing that movie very shortly, so stay tuned. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Like the video if you liked it, and drop a sub to support the channel. Also, feel free to check out any of my previous videos. Until next time.